Halloween, celebrated every year on October 31st, is a holiday rich in history and tradition, blending ancient pagan practices, Christian influences, and modern customs. Its origins trace back over 2,000 years to the Celtic festival of Samhain, which marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. The Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France, believed that on the night of October 31st, the boundary between the living and the dead thinned, allowing spirits to walk the earth. During Samhain, the Celts lit large bonfires and wore costumes, often made from animal skins, to confuse or ward off spirits. Druids, Celtic priests, played a crucial role, making predictions for the year ahead and offering sacrifices to the gods. These customs laid the foundation for modern Halloween's focus on the supernatural and dressing up in costumes. When the Romans conquered Celtic lands around 43 AD, they brought their own festivals, which merged with Samhain. One of these was Feralia, a day to honor the dead, and another celebrated Pomona, the goddess of fruits and trees, whose symbol was the apple, a possible origin of today's Halloween apple bobbing games. As Christianity spread across Europe, the church sought to replace pagan festivals with Christian observances. In the 9th century, Pope Gregory III declared November 1st All Saints' Day, or All Hallows' Day, to honor saints and martyrs. The evening before became known as All Hallows' Eve, which eventually transformed into Halloween. Later, All Souls' Day on November 2nd was established to remember the dead. These Christian holidays blended with earlier pagan traditions, maintaining the focus on death, spirits, and the afterlife. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, Halloween customs evolved in Europe. Practices like souling emerged, where poor people would go door to door, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for food. This is one precursor to modern trick-or-treating. Similarly, children would engage in guising, dressing in costumes and performing songs or poems in exchange for treats, a tradition still seen today in parts of Scotland and Ireland. When European immigrants, especially from Ireland and Scotland, brought their traditions to North America in the 19th century, Halloween began to evolve into a more community-centered celebration. The Irish in particular, fleeing the devastating potato famine of the 1840s, helped popularize the holiday. They also introduced the custom of carving jack-o'-lanterns, which originally involved turnips but shifted to pumpkins in the US, where they were more abundant. In the early 20th century, Halloween in America became a children's holiday, with activities like trick-or-treating becoming widespread by the 1930s. The phrase trick-or-treat first appeared in print in the 1920s, reflecting a shift from mischief-making to a more structured and family-friendly tradition. Halloween parties, games like bobbing for apples, and ghost stories were common features of these gatherings. After World War II, Halloween took on an even more commercial aspect. Candy companies began to capitalize on the growing tradition of trick-or-treating, and by the 1950s, Halloween had become the candy-centered event we know today. Costume production also boomed, turning Halloween into a multi-billion-dollar industry. In addition to the commercial aspects, Halloween became a staple of American pop culture. Films like Halloween, 1978, and Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, cemented the holiday's association with horror. Events like haunted houses and Halloween-themed amusement park attractions have turned the holiday into a celebration for people of all ages. While Halloween has its deepest roots in Celtic and Christian traditions, it has evolved into a modern celebration of all things spooky, enjoyed globally. Countries around the world have adopted or adapted Halloween, from costume parties in Japan to a growing number of trick-or-treaters in places like Australia and Latin America. However, each culture brings its twist to the festival. Today, Halloween is not only about honoring the dead, but also a celebration of creativity, community, and fun. A time when the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blur, just as they did thousands of years ago on the Celtic festival of Samhain.
Thank you for watching video. Please like and subscribe for more epic stories.